All right, we're in Kentucky. We're in Kentucky and scouting for the 24 deer season. So I've walked a lot of the ridge tops, and that's where a lot of the people pressure is being found. And so I just started walking deer trails and kind of hitting some of the draws and the bottoms, and just to find some more sign. And I found a lot of rubs and a lot of people sign too. But got this trail, and I've been following it for a ways, and all of a sudden it cuts up and it goes up the ridge. So I'm gonna follow it, see where it goes. We got some scat down here. Trail looks pretty fresh. We had rain yesterday. There's a rub. Some small tracks here. A big group of does. Here we go. We got some old blown down trees up here. Probably find some beds in just a minute. Keep poking around. It's pretty thick up here, so that's a good thing. Looks like greenbrier up here. That's good. Yeah, got greenbrier browse. Yeah, there's plenty for them to eat in here. It'd be hard to, if they were bedded down, you wouldn't be able to get in here and eat. Oh yeah, this is one of the thickest places I found. And these little washes, I don't know if that's the correct term for them, but these little washes are great for coming in and accessing. That's what last year, the last day, I think I saw 15, I think it was 15 deer. But these little washes. If you come in from the bottom, if you can come from the bottom, come through here, and if you do have trees right here on the edge, like this tree here, not necessarily the type of tree, but you got a tree right here and it's just right, you know, off the edge of that wash, you can come up here, climb it, lay up the tree, and then, you know, everything kind of behind you is burned, but you would want your wind kind of going that way. But then once you pop up, I mean, you're right here in this thicket. I'm not really seeing any like acorn trees in here that I can see right now, but there's tons and tons of browse, and I'm gonna give this place a little more better look, see what else we can find. I'm walking through this thicket because you can imagine what this is going to look like in bow season. All this is going to be green. You know, if you're a deer, you're walking through head highs around in here, and all that's green. This is a thicket, so that's going to be greenbrier everywhere. What I have noticed here in Kentucky, in this part of Kentucky, is they have persimmon trees, and like we've got here, there's a huge one right there. There's several right here in this thicket. Got more, there's another one over there. Got two right there. It's just really thick in here. You got persimmons in here, so bow season. Surely some of these will have persimmons on. You come in here and just kind of check and see, you know, before season starts. And those persimmons are definitely a preferred food source by about every kind of wildlife in the neighborhood. So you see those, they've got that big bark, kind of knobby looking bark, real dark color. But there's quite a few in here. It's just almost like a little patch of them within this briar thicket. So I'm gonna drop a pin, come back and check this out in bow season. Alright, found a bed here. It's just next to this log, just falling down log. You got thicket mess everywhere. Everything's starting to green up, starting to bud out a little bit. But from here, I mean, you can see let's see, if you were down here at the deer's level, you know, you're looking off and you can see all this draw, the ridge across the way. There's a saddle right here. I mean, you can see this, anything that comes and goes through here. Pretty well hidden. You got your back to the log. You find these beds, you can see a depression in the leaves. You can see how, you know, these are mashed down compared to these are still kind of natural looking and kind of fluffed up looking, where these are flat and depressed down. And then you can look in here and in the bed, and you can find deer hair and things. You know, it'll be throughout the bed, but it's a decent sized bed. And kind of looking around the area, I don't see anything with it, so it looks like it could be a buck. And you can tell the way they're facing by just kind of looking at the shape of the bed. The kind of curvature is going to be their back, and so they typically be facing this direction. So they kind of got, this one has its back to the log and it's looking this direction. So, you know, if you're thinking about access, or you're thinking about hunting, coming in here, if this deer was bedded here when you were to come in, you know, they got their back here facing this direction, and they can see all this, all the bottom, the ridge across the way. So, you know, there's a creek down here as well. If this little limb went in the way, you can see the creek. Got a saddle that comes right through here. And also, last year I came over and I did hunt this place one afternoon. There's a scrape I'm not sure how many yards it is. I haven't been over there yet, but it's probably 75 yards from right here. Because I was going over there just to see if there's any sheds in this area, because there's a lot of blowdowns and it's thick. So, but it's cool to find this bed. My gosh, that's a really long hair. But it's cool. It's cool to find these beds and just kind of see where they're laying. And right now the wind's hitting me in the face. It's hitting me in the face and it's blowing this way. So I don't know. The bed looks fairly fresh. The dirt is still, it's not crusted over or anything. So they may have been using it. We had a rain last night and the day before. So who knows? But it's been used recently because the hair is fresh. It's on top of the leaves and it's in the leaves. So we'll keep looking. When we were here last, in bow season and gun season, so I came in and I hung a camera here. I found this trail. It kind of skirts around this draw, and you look around. I mean, if it's the height of the deer, you know, you're here. Everything's gonna be green. This is really thick. I guess in this country. So, but walk the deer trails. Like I'm walking this deer trail, and just like I did last season, and coming through here, you can see it's been used recently. We had those rains come through, and so last year there was a scrape right in this area, and you know, obviously it's not being used. I did find some scrapes that were fresh, like they've been worked since the rain yesterday. So, and it is March the 2nd. But you can see where, you know, the buck came in and he broke this limb off, and he rubbed this tree, and there was a scrape here, and it had been worked. I put a camera on it, and I did have an 8-point come through on the camera, and so, but you can see how thick this area is. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. Some of the things are starting to green up and they're starting to bloom out, but just keep walking this trail, and I learned a lot just by walking the trails and seeing where the deer are going, and just seeing what they're doing, because this is a pretty good pressured area. There's a track right here. Looks like a small deer. There you got some scat. I don't know if it's true or not, but some say that if the scat's like clumped up, it's a buck. But just walking out, and you can see, if you do enough, you can kind of see where the leaves have been kicked up and where they're walking. But this area is just a thicket, so there was a scrape over there, and just checking it. I think my dad and brother are just texting, so they're headed to the truck, so I'll have to wrap it up for today. Start heading back, but what I'll do, like this area is pretty good. It's just outside of a thicket, so in bow season, this place is going to be super thick, with a lot of greenbrier in here. This is greenbrier right here. Like, this is going to bud up. There's more, so we're gonna have greenbrier coming on, and this will be a real thick area when there's not a lot of thickets in this place. So what I'll do is I'll probably come in from the bottom, come to the side. I'll pick a tree somewhere over here, not because I'm going to hunt necessarily the scrape, but because it's a little pinch point, a little funnel. I might pick a tree on either side, and then that way, whichever way the wind's blowing, I should be good. But that scrape, to me, I've seen scrapes before where you can see the roots on the ground because they've been hit over the years so long, and they almost turn into like a depression in the ground, like a bowl. But that one doesn't look that way. That one looks like he was running this trail and he made a scrape and tore a tree up. So, but I'll probably pick a tree, somewhere on this side over here. I'll probably pick a tree somewhere right over there, and that way I'm just on either side of this, and they're usually path of least resistance, they're going to skirt around this wash and this cut here. And on the other side of that log, there's another wash. And that bed we found is just right over there, about probably 80 yards. So somewhere right in here would be, I feel like, would be a decent spot for bow season. Alright, I was following another deer trail and stumbled upon another bed. So, and it's right in the middle of the deer trail. You can see the trail going through here. That's just kind of you got these kind of the finger ridges coming off the main ridge. You got these draws coming up and all these washes. Another draw over here, all these washes. And then this is like a low spot in the finger ridge. It just kind of comes down this way. It gets higher again right here, and then it keeps going that direction. And this is kind of like almost like a saddle, and this is not going to show up on the topo map on X. It won't show up on Spartan Forge either. On LiDAR, you'll just be able to see the washes and things like that. But this is, I mean, just a very subtle change in the height of this, kind of the peak of this ridge that comes down. And right in the trail is another bed. I'm just kind of looking at it, and you can see the hair here. I got a kookaburra, more hair right there. But it's a fairly decent sized bed. It's just a single bed by itself. Is it an everyday bed? No, I don't think so. I think the deer roam around. They probably use it in different areas and things. But you know, from right here on this spot, this just a little slightly lower spot on the ridge. I mean, his back's here, and so he can sit here. There's another ridge right out this direction. He can see anything that walks along that ridge. He can see all this draw right here, all these washes, and you know, easily can see his back trail here, or he can look, you know, this direction. And then behind him, you know, similar thing. We got blowdowns over here. It's just messy. You know, he can hear anything coming this way. And if he had the windows back, it'd be really, really hard to get in here to this guy. You'd have to kind of beat him to a spot and probably cut him off coming back to bed, or catch him leaving it. Because once he's in here, it's going to be hard to slip upon this guy. So, but he is right in the middle of the trail. So it could be a one-time bed, but so this is pretty neat. All right, this area looks like doe bedding, or I don't know, maybe some younger deer. But you got a small bed right here. It's a small bed. You can kind of see the depression in the ground there. Got a small bed there. Back's over here facing this way, so they can see all this draw, and they can see down the finger ridge that they're on. They're up above it. And they can see down it. They can also see down this draw over here. So I think it's multiples, or it looks like multiples anyways, because you got this small bed here, you got a bigger bed here, facing the same direction. There's a deer track right in it, but the back is here, and then the front would be here, so they're looking down as well. Over here, got another older bed right here, but you can see the back here, front here, and the same thing facing this direction here. You can see down both the draws and see down the finger ridge. So, but we'll keep moving, and I think we're gonna try to make our way back to a road. Okay, on the same trail where I found those small beds, and I look over, I've taken quite a few pictures of rubs today, but I hadn't put any on video. I just didn't think about it, to be honest with you. But here's a rub. It comes up to my hip. So, but then too, something to think about, you know, if he's rubbing on this side of the tree, he's on the downhill side of the slope, so he would be down here on this downhill side, working up at it. So with it being at my hip, you know, it could be a fairly decent sized buck, because with him being down here and coming up with his rack, maybe he's an older deer, but that's a decent rub. I found bigger ones out here, but I found smaller ones too. So deer sign's always good. Mark it down. Okay, on this same little narrow ridge, some people call these different things, signposts, whatever you'll call them, annual rubs. But this rub has been hit for years, if you can see. I don't know how well it'll show up, but this tree's been hit. It's been hit, seems like year after year for a long time. And whatever area you hunt in, pay attention to the trees they like to rub. That way when you're out walking, you know, if you see one of those, if you got your binoculars, you can pull them up and look and just see if you see anything over there, or you know, just kind of go over in that direction. This seems like a beech tree to me. Deer, I know in Alabama, they like to scrape and under the beech tree and those licking branches, and they like to rub them. And I've seen signpost rubs or annual rubs too on beech trees back home. So here in Kentucky, I found a few. Here's one. Looks like it was hit last year, and the trail's right here. So just the main trail coming down through here, and got a signpost, and looks like there's some more beech trees up here. So may find an old licking branch from this past season, or maybe some more rubs. We'll see. All right, so we were probably 50-60 yards up the trail. We made it down the trail a little bit further and came to one of these trees, still holding its leaves. I'm not sure if it's a beech tree. It's got some different shaped leaves on it. I'll have to look it up and see what it is, but regardless, the trail's coming through here. There's scat down here, fresh scat, so they use this year round, it seems. And then if you don't see dirt, when people are looking for scrapes, sometimes, you know, you're just looking for that dirt showing and there's no leaves. Well, you can see this grass, some type of whatever kind of grass this is, it's been displaced in this area right here. When you come over here and you look at the tree, you got limb there broken, you got one here broken off, and you've got here been broke off. You got out here, those have been broken off on the tips. That one there's been broken off on the tip. So, you know, it's not necessarily always the dirt that you pay attention to, but those limbs. And then also, like when I'm looking around, there's a rub right there. There's a older rub right there. So there's several rubs right here in this area, and so it very well could be a scrape that they work every year. If it's got licking branches they maintain, so it'd be worth dropping a pin. All right, still headed back to the truck. And this thicket is super thick. I mean, you see it's real thick in here. Got trail coming this way, trail coming down this way. What's behind us? Trail here coming this way. Got a scrape right there, and coming back over here. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was a scrape or not last year. There's dirt here, but at the same time, this right here is that's one of those rubs they hit every year. People call it signpost, annual rub, whatever they want to call it, but it's just a rub that gets hit every year. And I'm still scouting on my way back to the truck, but there's track in here too. Some of these leaves back. That's a pretty decent sized track. There's one small track, but there's two decent sized tracks in this. So, but we'll keep on scouting. I saw this. This is over here. I'll get it in further into the thicket. You see this? They probably got some mess on their bases or something. And it just kind of makes it shredding that tree like that. That's just from what I've seen in the past, but we'll keep on scouting. Had my brother drop me off. Road's closed way back behind me. And so apparently this is why. That's wild. It's like it ended up eroding all the way over here. So I'm gonna be careful, go up in this thicker mess and walk around. So it's crazy. All right, on a different piece, walking it, and found some really fresh buck scat on a little knob that's kind of surrounded by two ridges and draws. Found that, and then I've been working my way back to the truck, trying to get work that way anyways. But found this bed. You can see the old outlay of a bed here, and then right next to it you got the clumped up scat. You know, people say it's buck scat. Very well could be, but it, you know, it goes all through here. So, you know, if this was a buck, he's got this to his back, which is pretty good cover in this area, because there's not, the cover is pretty sparse, it seems like here. And then you can look out, and when he looks out, you know, he can see this. So he can see the bench below him. There's some turkey scratching all over the place in here. But he can see the bench below him, he can see the draw below him, you know, he can see down the ridge. So he's got a lot of things going for him right here. Good spot.